Yes, sir. I am trying to find out how or whom do I need to speak to report a crime being done against me. It's concerning looking on your website. It's concerning civil rights, color of crime, public corruption, and some white collar crime. It, Inspector General 202-514-2000. Thank you. So they gave me the number back to the DOJ. DOJ tells me the FBI gets their cases. Excuse me, the DOJ say they get their cases from the FBI. Yes, sir. I believe I just spoke to you. I was asking about trying to report a crime, and you referred me back to the DOJ. I spoke with the Attorney General here in Nashville, Tennessee, and he told me that they get their cases from the FBI. No, sir. I went back to the DOJ. The inspector. All right, sir. I will do that. I'll just inform you that I had already spoke to someone who was in that. Absolutely. I don't want to. I don't want. Okay, you're absolutely right. I understand. Thank you very much. 202-514-2000, Inspector General. Thank you. Yes, I would like to be connected to the Inspector General's office. Yes, ma'am. I am trying to get find law enforcement and some help concerning some crimes that have been done against me. I'm trying to looking at your website. It concerns color of law, public corruption, and a great deal of white collar crime. FBI.gov. The FBI. I just spoke to someone in the FBI, and they directed me to your office. No, I'm not trying to. I am not trying to file a complaint against the FBI. I am the FBI forward me to your office to put in my complaint. I am having problems with the state of Tennessee. I have, yes, ma'am. I have spoken to the district attorney. The district attorney forwarded me to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation forwarded me to the Attorney General's office, the state Attorney General's office. My state Attorney General's office has not, in a year, allowed me to go to the office, nor has it granted me an appointment. I then went to the Attorney General's office that is stationed here in Asheville. The Attorney General's office told me to go to the FBI. The FBI has now told me to go to you. I have a question, and I have two questions because you're about to give me some more runaround, and I need. Okay. Okay. I am trying to. My mother was killed by the state of Tennessee back in October 31st of last year. My mother worked for the small business environmental group here in Nashville. She found that the state of Tennessee was taking federal funds that were supposed to be going to small businesses and making them available to larger corporations. When my mother complained about it, she was forced out of her job. The day her forced retirement was supposed to go into effect, she died. From that, since 6 months prior to that, when she first reported it till now, there has not been any investigation. There has been nothing but runaround. During that time, a fight that I inherited from my mother against a predatory loan came into being. I have documentation and evidence to sustain everything I'm saying so far. With that being said, this predatory loan, people would refuse to speak with me. My state has made it unavailable for me to get paperwork in order to get my home. The predatory loan then went into foreclosure, and they sold the home from up under me back to the same people who were part of the predatory loan. I have also found out that my state had vested interest in because they have just did a groundbreaking ceremony of some new gated community that my land is supposed to be a part of. I have not been able to get any kind of law enforcement and police for help, or my Attorney General's office, or any law enforcement agency to even investigate none of my claims. I am supposed to be getting evicted tomorrow. I will not be getting evicted tomorrow. Okay. No. What about the rest of what I said? I didn't say I didn't want anything. 1 second though, man. 1 second. So let me get this straight though. Well, let me, you say this department, right? The office of only investigates DOJ activity. So for the no, no, ma'am. I'm suffering. I was suffering under a predatory loan, not housing issue. I'm not trying to. I am trying to get. Uh, these are crimes. They are supposed to have law enforcement on it. It's not a housing issue. It's a predatory loan issue. Who do I speak to? Because ma'am. Right. I'm glad you said that because I'm talking to the Inspector General, and I would like to know. By the way, uh, is this? I would like this to be recorded. Can this be recorded on your end? Can I request that this? No, I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get answers. I'm not trying to get switched off anywhere else. You, okay, excellent. I'm asking about your office and what information you can give me. You can't give me any information. Okay. May I speak to someone? May I speak to a supervisor? You are the supervisor. Who- Yeah, that's what I want to ask you about. You said that I need to get a lawyer. I am not trying to get legal counsel. I'm trying to get law enforcement counseling. I'm trying to find out what exact. So let me see. You're giving me the runaround. I'm just asking. I'm asking straight questions. I'm not asking about legal advice. You cannot tell me directly what law enforcement agency. You cannot. What law enforcement agency, not legal counsel, what law enforcement agency is, and this is the Department of, this is the Inspector General. I don't want to speak to nothing in Tennessee. And none of them can tell me a straight answer without me paying some attorney that speaks for me. Department of Inspector General, this yours. You're about to give me the Department of Housing number. Why not? I did not say that, ma'am, and thank you. 2024. I'm sorry, you said that quite fast. Uh huh. 202-450-6921. Uh-huh. And what is your ID badge, ma'am? I appreciate your information. Then who do I say I spoke with? I know. This is not for anything but my notes on whom, how many different departments I have to go through in order to find the law enforcement agency. It's a federal issue that the state is. I am saying that's why I said that this case also involves color of law. My state is refusing. This could go into RICO. My state is refusing to even look at evidence showing that they are have conspiracy. They are conspiring with these people. This isn't something that, as I kept trying to tell you, this you telling me it's federal and state. I'm saying that my state is taking away my rights and refusing to allow me. Huh? Uh-huh. So do I say that I talked to who in the Department of Inspector? I'm gonna tell them that I spoke to somebody. That's why I'm asking who am I speaking with, ma'am. I'm not trying to be argumentative, and I really, it, no, no, ma'am. Oh, I suppose your job, you work for me. I pay taxes, ma'am. Okay, that's great. Can I have a name? I am not. You. I have not been disrespectful. I'm not trying to ask you. I just asked you a name to go along with this department. Thank you. Operator number 7. That's cool. Thank you, ma'am. Uh, yes, ma'am. I have a problem that I am trying to find out. Where do I go to report it and ask for law enforcement assistance? Uh, I My mother died October 31st of last year. the contributing, she died from being stressed. She found that the state of Tennessee was taking funds that was supposed to go. She worked at the Small Business, and I'm sorry, she worked at the Small Business Environmental Assistance Group. She found that the state of Tennessee was misappropriating funds meant for small business and was using some loophole to give it to larger corporations. After she reported her findings, they spent 6 months of trying to discredit her 37 years of service and forced her out of work. On October 31st, when she died, was the day her forced retirement was supposed to go into effect. From those 6 months to now, we have not been able to get anyone from the state to investigate either the allegations by my mother, the substantiated allegations by my mother, nor have they investigated my charges of murder. They killed my mother by harassing her. I am trying to find out, where do I go if I have already went to my district attorney, who sent me to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and Tennessee Bureau of Investigation sent me to the attorney state. I'm sorry, what? State government. My mother worked for the state of Tennessee. She worked in the Small Business Environmental Assistance Group. No, ma'am, they refused to assist me. I have not been able to get in touch with the Attorney General's office, and I have put in. Then when I went to the United States Attorney General's office here in Nashville, they pointed me to you. And so, why is it in every one of these positions where everybody's giving me the run around, these white folks have a black person who don't listen, who not trying to find no reason to even try to help me? All you hear is excuses. But I walk out my house, the Gestapo has a reason to stop me at every time. My rights are relying on a lawyer. Yes, ma'am. What department am I talking to now? Okay. Public access. I am trying to find out, where do I go? Who do I have to speak to? I'll say it again. My mother worked for the state of Tennessee. She worked for the Small Business Environmental Group. She found she was a researcher. During one of her task, she found that the state was taking funds that were supposed to be going to small businesses and funneling them to larger corporations. For 6 months, they harassed my mother, who had worked 37 years for state and federal, for the state and the federal government. And they were forced her into retirement. On October 31st, my mother passed away. It was the day her forced retirement went into. For almost a year and a half now, my state has not only not looked into the funds being misappropriated, nor have they looked into my mother's death. I am trying to find what law. I have talked to the attorney. I'm so glad I'm talking to somebody that don't look like me. I have talked to my district attorney. My district attorney sent me to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation sent me to the State Attorney General's office. My State Attorney General's office refuses to either call me back or give me any access to their office so I can place my complaint, or even allow me to put in a request for an appointment. I then went to the Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General, who told me they do not accept evidence for cases, that I have to bring it to the FBI. I have been on the phone now for about 20 minutes being transferred around because they hear the consequences of this and try to send me other places. Where and who do I talk to put in, protect my rights? Because of this action, my mother, who was also fighting a predatory loan, which then I inherited as my problem, has not, I could not get aid on that as well. I am not trying to go into anything about housing. I wish to find out, where do I get justice for my mother? My mother was a researcher. She not only do I have, because once they start trying to force her into, once they tried to force her into retirement, I have all the evidence. My mother emailed to our state representative, Brenda Gilmore, and it's another one. She also went, she reached out for a lot of people for help, and all the evidence she acquired, she didn't, because it was something against the state, no one called her back. We couldn't get an attorney because every one of the, almost all the attorneys either told us $10,000, or they said that it went against, they had a conflict of interest. My mother's dead. The predatory loan that she suffered under would not talk to me. I couldn't get any aid, and now they have sold off my house from under me. Two, what I have found out is the exact same company that had something to do with my mother's predatory loan in the first place. My state did not, for 8 years we stayed here, well, I'll just say my house sold $60,000 more than what my state even told us it was worth. Although the houses we are having issues down here on that. I am about to be evicted, but I am not leaving. I am going to stand my ground. And I have been trying for over a year to find help. The people who are supposed to enforce the laws on me, because every time I complain, I've been stopped at least 6 times in the last year by police for making illegal turns and stuff just to get behind me. My son has been harassed. My family has been harassed, and now the state, which they just did a groundbreaking on, as if I'm already gone on some new gated community they've been trying to get put up. But my land wasn't worth nothing the whole time it was mine. But less than 6 months after my mama passed, its value jumps up almost $80,000. Who protects me? And if I protect myself, because possession is 9/10 of the law, it was illegally sold, it was illegally gained, it was illegally sold, and because I can't prove it, because I can't find any representation. There is no law enforcement. Everyone keeps telling me I have to get a lawyer. How is a lawyer law enforcement? I don't see a lawyer. I don't have. No one has to get a lawyer in order for me to walk out my house and get harassed by the police every day. Sure. hmm It was her supervisor. She had gotten a new supervisor. A new bureaucrat had became her new supervisor. All of this is part of public knowledge, public access, including my mother's responses. The fact that those responses have been buried and basically assassination of her character in order to make for no one to even look through the evidence. So the evidence is all there in black and white. I have emails my mom sent to everyone showing the stuff. But when you tell somebody, no one looks, and then you give me an excuse. My name is Orundi. My mother's name was Sharon. Now, 37216. She correct, correct. Auckland, OCWEN. It was about three. She had a 80/20 variable rate, and they sold it about 3 or 4 times. I have 3 different companies that say they have access to my or had. Well, they would automatically take money out of my mother's account, and then a month later they would say the loan was sold, and she was sending money to the wrong place, so they would she would accrue late fees and stuff while she had to get her money back, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. And so she had been fighting for. I mean, we had to dip into both our savings in order to keep the house twice because of that. Auckland is one of them. Own It, OWNIT, Realtors, Bank of America. There's one more. One second, please. Global Mortgage. Global, mortgage. Yes, ma'am. I tried to. My mother was having her. Uh, my mother was having her important documents sent to a PO box. We could not get it until we got uh, proof of death. It took because we wanted. My mother suffered from uh, uh, whatever we it never was diagnosed. She suffered from whenever she got too excited, whether good or bad, she would black out. We never found out what it is. My mother wanted me, had always said that if they hadn't found out what was wrong with her, find out once she passed away. And so we had an autopsy. It took 19 weeks for the state to give us back her authenticated or certified death certificate, and we couldn't get anything done. Which I informed those people, and I asked how much was the bill. My mother was paying. She had an 80/20 note on $150,000 that she was paying. It fluctuated between 1,400 and 1,700, $1,700 or $1,800 a month. When I saw that, I put $5,000 away into a savings account at Wells Fargo Bank, and I tried to get some legal aid to help me because I looked online and saw when I found out how much they was asking for, I found out that they were advertised. They had already started foreclosure and was when I got the birth certificate, and they had already put out there that my house is worth $200,000. I mean, yeah, 200,000, and the note was for $800. So my mother was paying twice what the mortgage is on a $200,000 house on a $150 loan, and they had already tried to screw us before. And so I was trying to find legal aid. They sold the house from up under me because you cannot find, there is no law enforcement agency that you can go to. Everything I have to do is go through a lawyer. And we have had enough problems with our lawyer that we wish to deal with ourselves. We know we are intelligent people. We know how to fill out paperwork. The probate office here in Nashville does not carry any other paperwork in order for me to get change from beneficiary to I don't forget what the term is. They said until I got that paperwork, they would not speak to me. And I have not been, and I went through the free legal aid that they had. They always holler about here in Nashville. They gave me, they declined me and sent me to other places. Said I can get a second opinion, but I'd have to pay for it. I went to the board that's over all the attorneys and put in for some aid. It wasn't until I went back and paid for. They have two ones. They got the free one that I never did hear back from, and then they got the one you pay $40, and they'll recommend somebody to you. They came back and said that no one who does that does pro bono what I needed help with, and it was cost me $10,000 to get an attorney to fill that. I just wanted the law enforcement. There's no one you can go to law enforcement and put in a complaint straightforward. If I am being robbed, I can call the police. If I walk down the street, police have every excuse in the world to be able to stop me, search me, to check my papers. But I have no legal recourse when I've been attacked. I would also like for you to take down this. And when I say that I suffer, my family has been suffering from retaliation, this web address, it's Oronde Fights Back, ORONDE FIGHTS DACK, all linked together at youtube.com. I have also documented from 2008, the first time I went to the Attorney General to complain about the things that we was going through since I moved up here, and it has only escalated in the retaliation to the point that my son was harassed until he had to drop out his third year in college in order to pay fines for and for minor traffic infractions that were thrown out, yet he still had to pay court fees on them. I've had to put in YouTube. Orandi Fights Back. The name of the video is American Tale. This is ongoing. It has gotten bigger and bigger. And you are the first person who has actually took any information down from me in a year. I went to the district attorney's office. They wouldn't. They said they were not over anything. I had to go to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, who said they didn't get their own cases. I had to go through the Attorney General's office, the state Attorney General, who you cannot get to their offices, and have not been able to get an appointment because they refused to call me back. Tomorrow they're coming from my house, and I'm not going anywhere. What are my legal rights if armed assailants come try to take my home? Right, I got you. I understand that. There's plenty I can do. There's plenty I am. Well, Americans have died for their rights for over 250 years, so I am not going to be a victim. I've done everything I'm supposed to, trying to get justice, trying to get law enforcement. I'm not even using no color bullshit. That I am an American that's been stepped on and can't defend itself. That's where my federal government was formed in order to protect me from. I have a legal case, not for money, but for laws to be enforced to protect me. Yes, I mean she had one of them that went from it would be between 750 and I'm sorry, not 750. It'd be between 850, and I don't have the papers in front of me, and I honestly say I'm on the verge of a nervous breakdown, so I can't think where it is right at this moment. But one of them used to jump between like $850 to $1,100. The other one jumped from 300 to 550. I remember that one distinctly because that was like $1,700 she had to income. And then the next month, found out it was sent to the wrong place. They put extra charges on her, and they wasn't taking for in 2007. I have a letter where my mother had to wrote to. They was trying to foreclose on the house. They said she had they was automatically to take money out of her account. They was taking money out, but they wasn't taking the full amount. They went about 6 or 7 months till it became like $3,500, and then told her that they was going to foreclose the house because she didn't pay the full notes, and late fees and interest had built up to like $3,500. But they was automatically taking the money out the account, and they didn't send. It would be like 2 months later when they sent a letter saying she was sending the money to the wrong place. So we got to wait till our money get back to send it to the right place. Meanwhile, we were still paying the regular note, and it caught up to us a couple of times. In 2010, We had the homeless when the flood of 2010. We had it bust the roof. They sold the mortgage right afterwards, and the new company came in and said that they found debris in it, and so they didn't cover the house. So we had then, while going through all that, we have to fix the roof ourselves, and it's just a continuous attack on your personage and your finances here, and you have no protection. Well, it's been a complete gentrification of here in Nashville, in my area. For the past 2 years, while they was telling us our house was worthless, they was the state and the same people who bought my house at the auction have been trying to get a gated community put up right behind my home. Uh, and so, every home that has been moved out have been nothing but black people, and we can't get any financing that is not 80/20 variable rate in this area. This is what I've heard from people trying to buy in this area, and we can't get housing loans to fix our houses up. Yet every other house is getting torn down and rebuilt every day in our neighborhood. It's booming. I got 4 houses within one block that have gone up in this neighborhood, but it wasn't until 6 months after my mother passed away that the my house was estimated to be $40,000 more after she died. But the whole time we've been here, we couldn't get she had a tree right when fall in her backyard, and we still haven't been able to cut that up. And I've been dealing with so much trying to track down how to get help that I have not gotten that tree out the backyard to this day. I just want to defend myself. I've done everything I'm supposed to. I worked my ass off, my family growth income has risen against the national average for the past 8 years because I bust my ass, and I ain't even, for every setback my state put in my way, I still kept going forward. But see, I cannot get protection. I can get harassed. I appreciate you listening, man, because I needed to get a lot of this out, and I'm talking to the right people. But I have sent in, I have sent in. When you go to their site and they say, "What is your problem?" I put in since it's been and since its inception, I know I have requested aid at least 6 times. I know I did. The last time was here a month and a half ago, and I have not heard anything back from them either. I am extremely complicated. Did you get that email? I mean, did you get that YouTube address? Can you put an alternative number on there, because that was my house number, and I'll give you my wife number. My phone's all off. Look at it. They'll be coming for me tomorrow, but I appreciate it. You could help my kids if you can't help me. They'll need it, but I hope you look at it. Let's go. Hey, people gotta stand up. I did. I'm tired. I'm ready to go anyway. Alright, so this is the end of our conversation. Thank you, man. First time I talk to somebody not black, they take information. You saw all the multitude, but we do it to ourselves. It's our country.